Murder domes. Oh, man. Murder domes. We're going to be like Rome. We're going to be like Rome, okay? Each state will have its own murder dome. And essentially what the murder domes are is coliseums, okay? Each state will have its own coliseum, including once I take Canada. Canada will have murder domes. So even if Canadian culture survives for the 2 decades, again, you must show me your pride being Canadians and stay Canadians, even when surrounded by the greatest culture, which is, the culture of Americans. So even Canadian states, right, because they're going to be a part of the empire, will have murder domes. And these states, or excuse me, these murder domes will fund social programs and other things in each state. So essentially, if you're a young man and you got nothing else to lose but your life, you can enter the murder dome and potentially win a shit ton of money or die trying, right? It's like, if you're like Icarus and you got too close to the sun and you fall, aka you die, you at least felt before dying what it was to fly, what it was to shed the weights of being poor and having an opportunity to become rich. God, this is making me sound horrible. Maybe, I don't know. But, and it can also be for, just for the glory. If you don't need the money, but you want the glory, well then risk your life for glory, Why would you do that? Well, that's why your name won't be remembered. But it's going to be for entertainment and all of that entertainment. So it's my version of breads and circuses, okay? Currently, you motherfuckers have football and soccer and the UFC. Fuck all that shit. We're gonna be watching the Murder Dome, okay? It's gonna get broadcasted for free on American channels, right? It's gonna be for free, right? No subscription service, all right? It's paid for by your taxes, and you don't even have to be in the same state. So if you, let's say you're in Michigan like me, you can watch the Murder Dome in like let's say California, right? You want to see a bunch of fucking with multicolored hair killing each other, then you can do that. Or you can be in California watching, because you're not a retarded person, you could be watching the Murder Dome in Texas, right? It's gonna be cross state lines, so you don't have to be in that specific state to watch what they're seeing. But that's gonna be my breads and circuses, okay? And again, all the money, well, it's not all, it's gonna be a split, but for the people who fill up the seats, the people who pay to get in and watch it live, in person, the cost of those tickets, 70% of it is going to go towards the state and state programs. I want to say 20% of it is going to go towards funding the prizes, right? The rewards for winning and, killing everyone else in the Murder Dome. And 10% of it can be for, again, fuck if I know, man. Maybe we make it 80-20 because I don't know what to do with the 10. Or we could do 70-30. Probably 70-30 just to have additional funds to, really get good fucking rewards and good prize money. So maybe 70-30. 70% goes towards the state and state's programs. 30% goes towards funding rewards. And so it's good when you spend money at the Murder Domes and you get entertainment for your family because it's funding state programs. It's the same excuse they use for playing the lottery, because portion of the total money that goes into it goes to funding schools. So yeah, that's what I would want for Murder Domes. And there would be a sense of glory to it, right? if you again are a young man and you have nothing to lose, you can do this, right? As well as like fathers. If a young man wants your daughter's hand in marriage, you can request of him to win a Murder Dome event, and if he wins, then of course he gets your daughter, right? Again, there's a sense of glory and there's a sense of beauty in this form of entertainment because it's men fighting to the death for your entertainment. Um, and it's not gonna be like the UFC, okay? It's not gonna be, oh, he's on the ground. No, 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 no. He's on the ground. Kill that motherfucker. But we will have mercy, okay? And what mercy is kind of self-explanatory. You give them mercy. So essentially, if you've won, right, and your opponent is bleeding out, you can say mercy, and the match will be over. And of course, the first responders will go in there and try to save him. But if you don't want that, if you want to kill these people, you can kill them. It's all legal. And then, of course, well, you would just kill him. You would just kill him. First response would get there, confirm the death, rush him to the hospital, take out his organs, and use that for any people who need organs. Right now, look. That sounds bad, right? Like, oh my God, you're taking the organs of this person. Like, that's stealing. Okay, look, is it stealing? Yeah, kind of, kind of. But where do you think the profits come from? Out of the sky, out of thin air? No, look. Okay, look. If that's too much for you because, oh, you're taking their organs, right? Fine, we won't take their organs. But if a lot of young people are dying and there's a lot of organs, and there's a shit ton of people who need organs because they're on wait lists, right? Because they fucked up their organs. Is it not just a win-win? Like, I guess it's my non-religious side peeking through the curtains when I'm saying this, by the way, because I truly don't see a problem with this. I mean, I do, but like, not really, because they're already dead. So maybe not, because again, why not? I mean, of course I can see like the moral reasons, and you'd be like, oh, they didn't want that to happen to their body, blah blah blah. Fair, fine, whatever. But people need organs, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And even once all of America has, gotten their replacement organs, we can sell it to foreign nations. You know, if a foreign nation needs an organ, I'm pretty sure we can sell it to them, unless it takes too long to get there. I don't know. I actually don't know about the transfer of organs across countries. I think since it's so fragile, right? I don't think you can really do that. Maybe you could do it cross state lines, but not really cross country. I don't know. Anyways, so maybe not, but and ultimately the murder domes are just a form of entertainment. Okay, we won the revolution. We are building Rome once again, except it's not Rome, it's the American Empire, the superior to the Roman Empire. I'll also include dueling. Okay, so currently we have mutual combat laws, and this isn't in every state. But in some states, if there's mutual combat, if you have like issues with someone, you can find an officer and you both engage in mutual combat, right? You just say it to the officer, we both consent to mutual combat. The officer watches, and once one of you is on the ground, the fight's over, mutual combat ends, right? So you're no longer legally protected. So if you get on top of him and you start punching him while he's on the ground, well, the officer would arrest you for assault. Because mutual combat had ended, you won the fight. Essentially, it's going to be an expansion on that, and on top of it being permitted in all 50 states now, and then of course however many states I add once I conquer Canada. Conquer? What am I conquering? That, I mean, they're gonna welcome me with open arms. What am I conquering, bro? It's more of like, it's like buying a shitty home, right? A shitty home that needs a shit ton of work and giving it a remodel. Then like, fucking than buying an already good house. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Canada is. It's a shitty house. It has potential to be amazing, but it's a shitty house currently, and it needs a shit ton of work. It needs to be remodeled, and we need to redo the pipes. The electrical is fried. Like, everything's got to be restored. So it's beyond a fixer upper. It's like we might as well just build a new house at this point. Regardless, after I take Canada, they will also be included in this. And if a person dishonors you, you can challenge them to a duel. And this duel can be a variety of things. It can be a duel of guns, right? It can be a duel of, fisticuffs, just straight hand throwing. It can be a duel with swords. It can be a duel with archery. Whatever you'd prefer, right? And as long as they're willing to accept your duel, then, it's fair play. And so a duel can be initiated on really any basis, right? If someone disrespects you, you can essentially say you want to duel them. You've disrespected your honor, right? If they're declined after disrespecting you, well then, here's the thing. No one has a responsibility to accept the duel, right? But it's how society will be changing with the introduction of duels, okay? Currently, if someone disrespects you and they disregard your duel offer, well, then you can just straight up brawl, right? Because we don't want people to just, like, disrespect you. They disregard your duel, and then they get away with just disrespecting you, right? Like, or if someone let's say touches your woman's ass, right? You challenge them to a duel, right? Because you want to, go beyond just beating the shit out of them and kill them, but they say no. Well, then you just beat the shit out of them. You just beat the shit out of them, right? It's that simple. And again, you won't be arrested because they engaged the confrontation by being a disrespectful cunt. So, in which case, you could just beat the shit out of them, right? Here's the thing, right? You would be worried, well, what about the leftist mob, right? Like, can't they take advantage of this and just, go out in the streets and, like, feeling disrespected and then, like, saying their honor was disrespected and, now they get the, ability to just beat on people? Well, here's the thing. If you're traveling in a mob pack, there is no honor. You have no honor to disrespect because you're traveling like a pack of hyenas, okay? There is no honor in that. Honor, when you have honor, it's because you're either alone or you have people beside you, right, who they look up to you, or you're their shoulder to lean on. Again, being the example of, like, your girlfriend, or, if you're out with your children, or you're out with your mother or your parents, right? That's when you have honor. If you're just out there, in a mob pack with people you don't know but share an ideology with you that's retarded, then there's no honor in that, bro. And besides, are you really afraid of some fucking lefties, bro? As a matter of fact, this would give you an opportunity to just beat the shit out of the fucking retarded lefties. You see a group of lefties, right? And they're trying to take advantage of, like, this dueling system that I would establish. Gather your friends and go challenge them. What are you going to do? Lose to a bunch of fucking blue hair? No, you're going to beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? So it's like, take advantage of what? They can't. They only win with mob rule by trying to outnumber you. But if you just have strong men and men who know how to fight, then you just beat the shit out of them anyways. And it can go sideways, right? One of these fucking crazy people pulls out a gun, but hopefully you motherfuckers are strapped too. Like, you know who you're dealing with. You motherfuckers better have guns too. Sorry, that went wild, but I have to address these crazy hypotheticals because motherfuckers are gonna be like, oh well, what if this, what if that, what if that. It's like, brother please just shut the fuck up, man. What are all of these super unrealistic hypotheticals? Well, they're not super unrealistic, to be fair, but like, just let me breathe, bro. I'm telling you what I want to do, and then you're hitting me with these, well, what if that, what if this, what if that. It's like, relax, okay? There's gonna be some bad things that come with anything that's new, okay? I mean, again, when we were first developing nuclear reactors, they were not as safe as they are today. But because of the failures in previous reactors, we now have much better and much more precautions with reactors. And there was a bunch of problems with the ones that actually did blow up, right? From, I believe, the management to the construction to, like, essentially they were doomed to, explode. But regardless, things go bad even when there's, multiple factors to try to prevent it. Okay, so how about you relax and get off my dick about, well, with all these what ifs. All right. But going back to the murder domes, I want to say, if you win 5 times consecutively, well, I mean, it would be consecutively unless someone gave you mercy, in which case you would, be able to try to have a new streak. But usually it's gonna be, if you don't win consecutively, you just die. But if you win 5 times, you'll be given a bronze medal, and essentially what you'll be given as a passive reward would be $100,000 annually for the rest of your life for winning 5 times consecutively. Of course, along with whatever prizes you chose at winning, any of the other ones. If you win 10 times consecutively, that 100,000 jumps up to $250,000 annually, and then you would, of course, get all the other prizes you would choose along the way. But on top of that, since you won 10 in a row, you would get a a special, just one-on-one meeting with me, the Emperor, right? And we could discuss things, and potentially, if I like our conversation and any idea or suggestion you may have, we could establish a law, or we could establish something around it. If you win 15 times in a row, you get gold, which is essentially, so you start with bronze, silver, gold. If you win 15 times, we keep you at 250,000, right? And it doesn't seem like, what? Only 250,000. But what ends up happening is, if we decide to keep, going, this empire going, and keep me as emperor, the first person to get gold would be the advisor of the next emperor. So you've proven yourself through combat, and so you will be the advisor to the next emperor. And if the emperor, right, tries to not care for you, or try to, push you away and push you out, it will be under decree of me, the original, the first emperor, that emperor is to be stripped of his power, and you are to be established as emperor. Because how dare he look someone who earned their position via combat, has killed countless people, and then say, I don't need to listen to you, I don't care for your advice, and try to push you out. And of course, the guards and essentially, the military will usurp him, will have a coup and get him out of power, okay? And then you'll be established as emperor. So that's a way to reach the title / throne of the emperor. Now, I didn't have to earn the title of emperor via combat, but because I'm the one pushing to establish all of this in the first place, so I get some favoritism with how things turn out in my favor, because I'm the one establishing the system, okay? Relax. Uh maybe maybe if you know, I've been emperor for like 10 years or something, and our country's doing good. We've saved Western Europe. You know, everything's just looking good. You know, all these people who were fucking over the American people were arrested. You know, I've changed a bunch of shit. Everything is just nice and peachy. Maybe I'll just sign up for a random murder dome. Obviously, I'm not gonna say which one, right, or in which state, because there's probably still gonna be little hats who try to unalive me even 20 years after. So, but wouldn't that shit be crazy to see, right? Like after 20 years of saving the nation and stabilizing everything and improving everything, not just stabilizing, you just see the emperor inside of a random murder dome, like just that'd be fucking crazy. That'd be wild. Um, if I lose, you know how much aura I'm gonna lose if I lose. Look, it's not all about aura, okay? It's not all about aura. But look, I would like to be remembered as a glorious emperor, right? It's my ego showing and like me wanting to have a good and popular remembrance, right? I want to know in the future there's people making fucking edits about me when I'm in heaven. When I'm in heaven, these motherfuckers in 100 years, they're making edits about the first emperor, right? So that's kind of why I care about aura. Again, it's a very like childish and not serious thing, but I am young, okay? So there are positives and negatives with having a young ruler. And ultimately, I won't let my need to be remembered in a good manner constrict my options and or my choices and how I resolve the manners, the problems within the nation, right? I will still get shit done regardless of how it makes me look or what future people may think of me, right? But I do also care about my reputation for the future. So it I will think about it, but it will not hold me back from doing anything that needs to be done. That I can assure you. Essentially bringing back the Coliseum because, man, football shit's boring, okay? Look, if you like the current circus, right? If you like the current circus and you like the fucking sports today, fine. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. I don't see the appeal of it. I've never been into sports. I've never liked any of them. I've never been tribal in the sense of like, oh, that's my football team. That's my basketball team. That's my baseball team. Never been tribal in that sense. I am tribal to the American tribe, right? Like I care about my nation, my people, but in terms of sports, I haven't. So, but I would be tribal for coliseums, yeah. Like just and then it could be like a competition between states. Which state has the most men who have earned the gold award, right? Which state? regardless. I will bring back murder domes, but I would say that would be like a far off project. So murder domes probably wouldn't be starting construction until like 2 years of my reign, because they're like as fun as they would be, and as like as good as they would be for like again funding states programs and shit. I still have other things to do. Okay, there is still more important shit to do. Probably by the end of year 2 or like midway through year 2, I would have a lot of shit that needed to be done. But we would still have to see, right? Because a lot of things can improve immediately and very quickly, which is why a lot of progress can be made when someone has complete and total power, because things move fast with the simple yes or no of the person in power versus we have a vote on it. Oh, it wasn't passed. Now we have to change things, right? And then so we send it back to where, right? So like if the Senate passes a bill, it goes to the House. If the House doesn't approve it, it goes back to the Senate. The Senate changes things. They re-vote. They pass. They goes back to the House. Blah 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of fucking, you know, wait times and everything in the middle to actually get something done. Versus again, an emperor, they either approve something or they don't, and it either goes through and it continues or it doesn't. But there's no voting. there's no waiting for what people agree and don't agree on. So yeah, hopefully, you know, everything can be done within 2 years. I believe it can truly. If not, then you know, it's gonna take longer, man.